Okay, here we go. Part 4. I'm going to try to finish this up today. Um, there's I see maybe a 3-4 second lag on YouTube. Hey, H. Hey, little Deb. Hey, Debbie Ho. Debbie Ho. Debbie Ho. All right. I will commentate in the hopes that you get a little education. So I have 2 different banners. One with the original recording. Welcome everyone to my channel. Opinions and theories with no repercussions. Opinions of this channel may not be the opinions of others. We are good with that. I commentate in the hope to educate. Trigger warning where needed. And always entertaining. Dress up your cursey words in chat and be respectful to each other. And I'm going to say this also, copyright disclaimer, but it's my stuff. So I don't think I'm going to be, I don't think I'm going to be copyright striking myself, for sure. I am going to say this. I don't care. Hey, Diamonds. Hey, Stephen. I do not care if you like Jody. I don't care if you don't like Jody. Hey, Stein Eric. Has nothing to do with me. This is a conversation I had with Jody, and it was a very long conversation. That's why I split it up. I have been commentating on it only because I just can't sit here and keep my mouth shut. So let's have some decent conversation. Feel free to tell me your opinions and your theories on the Summer Wells case. I am here to listen to all of them, and it's it's absolutely okay if you do not feel the same way I do. If you are stating something as fact, please just tell us where you found it. It's not that big of a deal, okay? I am not going to sit on here and call anyone a fibber, okay? I'm not into it. Not my cup of tea. So you may find some discrepancies in what she is saying. Please feel free to go where you want and find the discrepancies. Remain calm is not going to do it. Okay, I don't have time. Super Sensible got a membership from Diamonds. Oh, that is so cool. Thank you, Diamonds. Thank you very much. Okay, so as you all know, you never know what Remain Calm is going to say. So let's get this party started. I'm coming out, so you better get this party started. I'm coming out, I'm coming out, so you better get this party started. Get this party started on a Wednesday. Because today's Wednesday, right? Okay. A Taurus. Well, I'm a Sagittarius, H. Davis. That says a lot, doesn't it? Ha. Okay. This is Jody Sue having a conversation with Remain Calm, part 4. Here we go.
But you hear things like, why?
Oh, wait. Why are you buffering? Why are you buffering? You shouldn't be buffering. Hold on. I'm buffering for some reason. Hold on. Let me rewind it a little bit. Let's see if this helps. Oh, wait. Why are you buffering? Hold on, you whippersnappers. I don't know why it's buffering. She's a buffering fool. She is a buffering fool. Hold on, I'll have to pull it back up. Oh no, what happened? Hold on. Error occurred. Refresh the page. I don't know if I can refresh the page. Hold on. Hold on. I have to refresh. It's probably because I had it up for a long time. All right, hold on. Let me go back over here. Let me see if I can get it refreshed. Hold on. How did I do this? How did I do this last time? Give me just 1 minute, you guys. I gotta pull up my StreamYard here. Library. Hold on. All right, hold on just a second. Hold on. I want to see where I'm at because I don't want to start all over again. Hold on, you guys. I am at 349.47. 349.47. Okay. We'll start it there. Hold on. Hold on, you guys. I'm getting it. I am getting it. I am getting it. Here we go. All right. Put a 1 in chat if you can hear it, you guys.
No, and they're like singing, and then eating everybody that's in her real life a lot.
Right.
Like, it's a little creepy, man. It gets creepy. You know, when they get mad at us, and we're like, I'm not the only, you're
Can you
weird,
hear
and
this?
why are you asking me this stuff? Like, I have no soul, or like, what?
Hey, Mama Bear, can you? Thank you, Debbie. All right, this is it. We're just gonna finish it out, y'all.
You know, we didn't know her. You know, like,
Well, and that's the bad thing too, because one thing that I noticed, because this even happened to me, and I'm a smaller creator, I ain't no big creator, and I had people who were asking me for my notes, and
Okay,
it was
wait.
like once you would let somebody, and it was constant. Every time they talked to you, all they wanted to do was talk about Summer and what could have happened to her. And I'm not saying there's anything wrong with that, but it was like a lot of people, like you said, go touch the grass a little bit. You're not stopping to even think about the common sense of this whole case. It's more about, keeping people online and the craziness. And it's just a lot. It gets to be a lot.
and it gets in.
Thank you, Diamonds. Thank you, girl. That means a lot. It really does. Thank you so much. Thank you, girl. David Koresh, yes. Was he a SDA? Was Robin one of the Waco? Stein Eric, I do not know the answer to that right off the top of my head, but I do know that they did talk about it before. So I cannot say that is factual or not factual at this moment.
Exhausting. It's like for almost, well, we've not been out here for a long time, obviously, but a certain point where, but you're looking at least close to what, 3.5 years now.
Right.
Um,
No, they wasn't, Anna. Jody and Andy weren't the last ones to see Summer.
No, I didn't see Summer at all on June 5th. So, and I didn't see Candace till after 6:09. So that's just how that is. But
What do you mean, Lips? You've been hit up so many times. Give you what? What? I don't know what she's even saying.
but like you for years, it's over and over every day in some chat or some place, or every time you open this, really, it doesn't matter what creator's room, doesn't matter comment section. You hear stuff like, they check the wells, Andy and Jody to refuse, Candace don't refuse searches, nobody was this, neighbors unaware. Like when I first come to yours, you have that one talking about how there were no roadblocks. Yes, there was. Look right behind Lawson in that first night's broadcasting. It's on WCYB. That roadblock was directly behind him, and it was in the center of Beach Creek, and so it's catching all coming and going,
Right.
And yes, there was. Yes, there was. But you hear things like, why did you refuse this? And it's all the stuff pumped out by these creators. and it's confusion and it's a belief based on hate or tribalism, teams or comprehension skills or literacy. I don't know what it is. Narratives, pebbles, purposeful things, scripts, it doesn't matter, but it still exists in every day. People want you to explain over and over. Can you tell us about the what? Did they check this? What about a septic tank? Well, I sure hope they searched Andy Joseph. Well, why were this? Why that? And what other neighbors are this? And who can get a hold of that one? And who's this? And just having it so many, and it gets
to
so.
be a lot. Yeah. And this is the thing too. People look at, I think we touched on this a little earlier. People look at Beach Creek and, substance manufacturers and all that shit. And they are, that's stuff that obviously they've never seen before, right?
Stories. There's domestic violence, there's child abuse, there's drug manufacturing going on in cul-de-sacs too. I hate to tell you that just because it's by some guy named Bob in khakis. It's there.
Right.
Right. I hate to tell you that.
They're talking about Frank Light's sister AC. I don't know if I want to release those lives or not. I mean, some of the stuff she says, Jody, is just fucking really out there.
It was.
So
I never did listen to much of hers. I know there's family stuff going on there. I know that the Light family has spoken to me about some of it. That's a whole mess and shit showing itself there.
Yeah, that's what I heard about all that shit too. It's definitely a big mess. And
I do not think there were a lot of connections with what happened at Waco and the SDA church. From what I remember, the SDA church was trying their hardest not to be affiliated with the Waco stuff. So I do remember that. But if you remember connections, tell us who the connections are. Who are the connections?
Man, I think a bunch played roles in that. These creators played in it, and that whole envelope stuff, whatever it was. I mean, it was just
that was weird shit. I remember that.
All played role. There was no need in any of it, quite frankly, other than start Beach Creek shit. And like I've always told y'all, man, please leave Beach Creek alone. It's got something you can set off one and do something you don't even know you're fucking doing, and people can end up dead, especially when I was in detention because of shit everybody's tampering with. Or
what Jody says is there are dangerous people in that area, just as there's probably dangerous people in your area. Some of those people don't want to be talked about. They don't want their name given to social media. They don't want their name given to a bunch of strangers.
Or falsely making others believe or said, right? Because you'll still have people and locals listening to only certain channels and believe in narratives, and pumping out bullshit on one or the other of us and stuff we never said. You can get somebody killed, especially when it turns away in light speed. And I'm telling you, that's probably going to happen. And nobody will bat an eye.
That's pretty messed up because they don't understand that.
Very tight family bonds and units, and this and the other people who really love one another. Close family knits and ties, and they're being destroyed because of what's happening on social media and what's being falsely pumped out to even some of the families that don't necessarily understand or are older or don't watch all the channels, but believe me, or some creator in their inbox trying to target and tamper them like Shay and Crystal and my sister line to her, being like, "Oh, your sister said we're just worried about it," and it was all lies,
right?
And they're doing the same thing to acquire others because that's how they elicit these really rage-worthy responses. Get connected at first, and then voila, right?
Well, I think the only thing that kind of got me about what gets me about a lot of them is because they will, they'll come into a chat or whatever, and like with Marlena, Andy was like, "Do you know me?" And I'm like, "Andy, you know who Marlena is."
Well, he knows who she is, but we know all her business. We probably know her business better than she knows her business. But that doesn't mean we're friends, right? It doesn't mean hang out with her. And he is really turning around about way, just like all of them are related to each other in there.
Right.
But he was asking anyway, like, "Do you know me?" Because
do you know me as to hang out with me?
And you can tell she don't.
Because I went through the same shit with AC when Andy came into chat. She automatically, "Do you know me? Do you know who I am? Why were you asking about my husband?" It was weird shit. It was weird shit to me because I'm like, don't play that shit. Don't play that shit on my channel,
because of what she's saying about him, right? She thinks he's a mechanic. Well, that tells you something, right? You know, all the shit she's pumping out right now. But then her saying I'm intoxicated, and and they're not saying when she seen me, though, that means obviously she wasn't around her near, oh, I don't know, Candace Senior moved in, and I was having all this, right?
Right.
Means she didn't around me to know my voice is like this to understand why it is.
Right.
That shows you how often during that period she was actually, that's why she likes awareness.
Right.
It's because back when she been transferred out, it correlates with the date we're told Summer was ODing and taking Allium. And Allium,
I'm telling you, that was messed up when that was sad. No,
and that also correlates with the date that Marlene and them were still and doing weird stuff, and everybody owed money, and Marlene owed money to Candace Senior, Candace Junior, Dawn, Bobby, the whole night. You know?
Do you guys hear what she's saying? And I'm asking you, please use this for educational purposes. You may not like Jody, and I don't care if you do or not. I am not the YouTube police. I am YouTube Homeland Security. Okay? I run an organization called YouTube Homeland Security. I don't deal with who likes who and who don't like who. Oh my God, AK-47. Holy poopy crap, huh? Look. Chad Arnold has not been heard of, and I don't know what Marlena has said about Chad Arnold. I never paid any freaking attention. It's all hearsay. Hear it saith. So let's listen to Jody hear it saith. I do not know what you're saying, AK-47, but I'm not here to, you know, have a conversation about Jody's voice.
But it still exists in every day. People want you to explain overnight. Can you tell us about the what? Did they check this? What about a septic tank? Well, I sure hope they start standing Jody's. Well, why were this? Why that? And what other neighbors are this? And who can get a hold of that one? And who's this? And just having it so many, and it gets
so to be a lot, yeah. And this is the thing too. People look at, I think, who would want someone that has been described, like Marlena has been described, being a character witness for anybody? Well, then don't listen to it, AK-47. If you already don't believe it, then don't listen to it. I think we touched on this a little earlier. People look at Beach Creek and, you know, substance manufacturers and all that shit, and that's stuff that obviously they've never seen before, right?
There's domestic violence, there's child abuse, there's drug manufacturing going on in cul-de-sacs too. I hate to tell you that, just because it's by some guy named Bob and Khakis. It's there.
Right.
You know, right. I tell you that.
You know, they're talking about Frank Light's sister, AC. Yeah. I don't know if I want to release those lives or not. I mean, some of the stuff she says, Jody, is just fucking really out there. So
I never did listen to much of hers. I know there's family stuff going on there. I know that the Light family has spoken to me about some of it. That's a whole mess and shit showing itself there.
Me too, AK-47. But like I said, you like Jody or you don't like Jody. That's completely up to you guys. That's up to you guys. All right? For real. You can believe what she says or not believe what she says. I ain't going to get in the middle of that. I can tell you that right now. Yeah, that's what I heard about all that shit too. It's definitely a big mess. And
I think, man, I think a bunch played roles in that. These creators played in it, and that whole envelope stuff, whatever it was. I mean, it was just,
that was weird shit. I remember that.
All played role. There was no need in any of it, quite frankly, other than to start Beach Creek shit. And like I've always told y'all, man, please leave Beach Creek alone. It's got something. You can set off one and do something you don't even know you're fucking doing. And people can end up dead, especially when I was intentionally because of shit everybody's tampering or falsely making others believe or said, right? Because you'll still have people and locals listening to only certain channels and believe in narratives, and pump out bullshit on one or the other of us and stuff we never said. You can get somebody killed, especially when a two turns away in light speed. And I'm telling you, that's probably going to happen. And nobody will bat an eye.
That's pretty messed up because they don't understand that.
Very tight family bonds and units and this and the other people.
Let me tell you guys something. Hold on. Do. I'm gonna roll 'em. Somebody's got their music up real loud outside. Hey, could you turn that down? I'm doing a show. Yeah, I have a YouTube channel. Yeah, it's called Remain Calm. Yeah, I'm doing a show. Oh, you don't know who I am? Oh, what the fuck ever. Turn this shit down. I'm just messing around, you guys. I'm just messing around. Nobody knows who I am. I don't go around saying, my name's Remain Calm. I have a YouTube channel. Hey, I have a YouTube channel. I really want to get to 2,000 subs. I really do. I think I'm at 183, I think. I don't know. H. Davis always reminds me because I don't look. Is that bad that I'm a creator and I don't keep track of how many subs I got? I don't know. That's for you guys to decide. Anywho, moving on. Thank you for the pop-up concert. We appreciate it.
Who really love one another, close family, knits and ties, and they're being destroyed because
I would rather hear music than to hear somebody screaming across the street calling me a whore. Okay? So not only am I an old hag, and that gets screamed across the street at me, I'm a whore, I'm a liar, and I'm like, how am I a liar when I played your own words? I don't know. I ain't figured it out and ain't gonna figure it out. The Jody Sue Blues and hey, Poppy. Girl, I am 60. I am 60. Well, I think I'm 61. I don't know. I lost count. I don't keep track of how old I am. So I'm sure there's always a few years shaved out there. Girl, you're young at 52. Lord have mercy.
What's happening on social media and what's being falsely pumped out to even some of the families that don't necessarily understand or are older or don't watch all the channels, but really want or some creator in their inbox trying to target and tamper them like Shay and Crystal and my sister line to her being like, oh, your sister said we're just worried about it, and it was all lies, right?
Right. And they're yes, I believe Jody Sue's sister came out on social media with Andy Bernard's, right? With Andy Bernard and was talking about Jody or something like that, you guys. I remember it, but nothing was said that had anything to do with Summer, so I really didn't pay a whole lot of attention to it, for real. Oh, your birthday's going to be on the 15th? Girl, I'm going to have a birthday party for you. I'm writing that down. 15th, birthday party for Poppy. Who else we got? We got somebody else's birthday around that time too, don't we? Girl, I'm going to have you a party because I love you. Oh, H. Davis has got one next Tuesday. All right, H. We'll have one for you too. We will have a
big birthday party.
Doing the same thing to acquire others, because that's how they elicit these really rage-worthy responses. Get connected at first, and then voila, right?
Well, I think the only thing that kind of got me about what gets me about a lot of them is because they will, they'll come into a chat or whatever, and like with Marlena, Andy was like, "Do you know me?" And I'm like, "Andy, you know that you know who Marlena is."
Well, he knows who she is, but we know all her bit.
Well, we can party for you too, Cattle Kings. We will have an early birthday for you. How about that?
I mean, we probably know her business better than she knows her business, but that doesn't mean we're friends, right? It doesn't mean that, and he is really turning around about way, just like all of them are related to each other now.
Right.
But he was asking anyway, like, "Do you know me?" Because,
do you know me as to hang out with me?
And you can tell she don't, because of what she's saying about him, right? She thinks he's mechanical. That tells you something, right? All the shit she's pumping out right now. But then her saying I'm intoxicated, and and they're not saying when she seen me, though. That means obviously she wasn't around her near. Oh, I don't know. Candace Senior moved in, and I was having all this, right? Means she didn't around me to know my voice is like this, to understand why it is.
Right.
That shows you how often during that period she was actually. That's why she likes awareness.
Right. Because don't forget, Jody said that when Grandma moved to 110, started staying up at 110, that on the surface anyway, things seem to be a little better. She said the kids were clean, and there was some changes being made there, but something wasn't right. Something still wasn't right.
It's because by that point she'd been transferred out. It correlates with the date we're told Summer was ODing and taking Allie. And Allie,
yeah, that was. I'm telling you, that was messed up when that was sad.
And that also correlates with the date that Marlene and them were first still and doing weird stuff, and everybody owed money, and Marlene owed money to Candace Senior, Candace Junior, Dawn, Bobby, the whole night.
You guys hear that, right? What in what she just said made your flag go flying? What did she just say that made your flag go flying? Now, I'm not going to sit here and say that anyone is guilty of whatever happened that day. I do not know that. I cannot say there's innocent people, and I'm not going to say there's guilty people. But that interests me, right? That, that it's being alleged that money was owed, right? Money was owed. She said to Dawn, to Candace, to Grandma, I don't know who else she named. Why that piques my interest, which it's more of something that's a back pocket fact. Okay? We're going to call that a back pocket fact. Stick that in your back pocket. What kind of got me is the fact that when Summer first went missing, Jody's telling you where to find when Marlena was in a news interview, and what she said about the Wells and what she thought happened to Summer. Then you've got Marlena talking about describing exactly what type of children that traffickers like to take. You also have Marlena saying Summer wouldn't have went with anyone, but she would have went with me. Those are her words, not mine. Those are her words, not mine. What else? There's a couple other things I'm forgetting also. I'll think of them.
And so, yeah, off and on, she was still running because I'm dope type student.
What are you wanting me to look for, Mama Bear? if you give me an idea so I don't have to go way far back.
You're like, oh, we're fighting this week. I know it's fine. You just drop your kids off here, but you go the fuck away like that. You know what I mean? So, yeah, you know, and it's like, and you have that, but that's what weirds me out, right? They behave that way. Marlene and them are clearly into it. They fucked each other over a million times. Dope this, dope that. They wind up around each other again for a day or something. But their kids are still in there. Allie did the same thing. They're into it. Oh, but yeah, here's my kid. You know. And,
is there any way you can rewind it a little bit, Mama Bear? Because I don't know how far back to go. I do think Jody did Jody, I love this interview with Jody. I really do. Oh, you're not at home? I'll go back and try to find it in a minute. Is that okay? Because I'm not sure what date you're looking for. And I think Libs put in comment that Marlena was cleaning some houses or stuff for a little bit of money. Marlena talks about allegedly going up and helping Candace clean. So could that have been because she owed Candace money? Who knows?
Now, these were before.
And let me tell you guys this. There are a lot of people that, you know, it's not that they deal substances and stuff, but people will do jobs for other things beside money. They will. You know, someone may clean your house for whatever, right? It doesn't necessarily mean they're doing it for money. But can we look at what we see of Marlena? That Marlena's basically showed us herself of what we see of Candace and automatically assume that she was possibly helping Candace for money or anything like that. But you know what? If that's what she's doing to make her money, there's nothing wrong with that. There is nothing wrong with, you know, cleaning the house to make a little bit of extra money, right? Animalistic like the sound of the beast.
Oh, it was before Summer vanished and all this. And now around DCS and all that, I don't know, but hear Marlena's first stories, they still around. Others had dropped, you know, Journey off, blah, blah. I don't know. But, you know, that's true. You know, I wasn't over like that. You know what I mean? Right. I could see people coming and going or whatever was volunteering information, you know, all that. But, you know, it depends on who you believe at the time. But, yeah, you always have them right back around one another.
And that's interesting that Jody says that. It depends on who you believe at the time. Because there ain't one of you gonna sit and tell me that you have not questioned some of the things that people have said. You might believe them, but then it don't take long before you're like, wait a minute. Are they telling the truth or are they not telling the truth? I think we all do that. That's just human nature.
You know, you ain't gonna find me like once somebody does me there, like it's done. We're done.
That's the way I am too.
And it's like, Apple, you see her at a point calling police, being like, Candace is threatening them with a gun or blowing my head off. You know, trying to come get my kids.
Get the kids, yeah.
You know, I'm like, what is wrong with you people?
Yeah.
And you know that that's going on to that type of people, and you're like, all right.
That's what I say. What is wrong with people? What is wrong with people? Yes, people can make good money off of cleaning houses and stuff. Absolutely.
Let my kids go over, then people give me shit and say I think I'm better than them because my kids didn't hang out over. Even Candace and Dawn have told you all online that my kids did not hang out over there. Yep. They've told you clearly that wasn't my son in the pool. It wasn't this. It wasn't that. You know? But no.
Yeah, still people are going to believe what they want. It doesn't matter. When Cam and Allie and all of them were putting out
stuff about Jody Sue's son, and I'm not here to have a conversation about Jody Sue's son. Candace herself said, why would he come up through the woods when he could just walk up the driveway? That is what Candace said. Why would he have to run around and sneak around in the woods when all he had to do was come up the driveway?
Wasn't my kid in the woods either, and even then, it was still months down the line. So what the hell does that matter?
You know what? I couldn't figure out where the fuck they got that your son was up there on that hill like that.
He wasn't,
because even Candace said if he wanted to come up here, he'd walk up the driveway. He wouldn't have to sneak up in the woods.
He wouldn't have to. And you got to think at this point, they were having press, they were having stuff like that up there. So if our dogs got loose or anything and went over there, we'd have to go get them. So it's like that one. I think it was Bobo or something. Like, oh, these dogs are nice. It's like, yeah, it's because those are mine over there today, Jesus.
Right.
You know? And Whoops, you know, so there'd be times you'd have to go get dogs, which was normal, right? But and also you got to understand, I've shown the receipts for where Candace was like, we're putting up cameras, and I also asking me which alarm types to get to trigger, right? And so I recommended a brand to her that we had, and then she showed me, you know, and so we knew where these things are. If he was sneaking around, you think he'd avoid all that, you know?
Right. AK-47. Social media is one weird ass crappy place. It's just not them people doing weird ass crap. There's a lot of people on social media doing weird ass crap. I'm just saying.
Why you? And then they're like, oh, he's probably wanting info or something on Summer. What? Bitch, we could have just asked.
Right.
Right. You know, are you stupid? But no, the day that like that Pam Sanchez and Amy Tate and all I'm talking about, I know what it was. And it was when we were coming back and forth from hotel stuff this year. And because I had the Kia Soul, and I know y'all seen that driveway. And y'all have not seen it as bad as it was then. And I would have to get a run and go. And it was a straight drive and navigate the driveway. So Boogie would get out, he'd hold our dogs back because they'd be like on our driveway.
Right.
And I'd have to make the run and go up the hill. And then he would like our chain and gate, and he would walk on it behind me. But on one of those, you have these fucking tweakers up there who you clearly know are tweaking. On the news, on WJHL, one of those is Amy Tate before even the boys are taken. She is tweaking full out standing beside Robin, Candace, and Candace Senior.
Oh, is that the one at the vigil that's, oh my God, I'm sorry, I didn't believe you because of social media.
No.
Oh, this is a different one?
This is the one where I believe they're at Borden.
And I am gonna find those and pull them up. We are gonna look at those. I promise you. And
Candace is in the nice football jersey thing, the blue one. Robin's behind her. They're doing the balloons. One of Summer's brothers holding them. That writer, pastor guys there, all that. They're holding it underneath the thing. And it's before the boys were taken. And Amy Tate is on one here, and her jaw is doing this, and she's like bugged out of her mind.
Wow.
And they stayed there and they were supposed to be fixing the house then because Squall and everybody seeing them, right? But it turns.
Now, this is the thing. A lot of times when people come over on my panel and they're having a conversation, they mention other people. Now, I've heard of a lot of these people, but I don't know them. I do not know them. I've never had a conversation with them. Never was over on their channels or anything like that. So some of you probably know, but I don't know. I just want to put that out there.
Turns out this group in Beanie sent them to insert it, you know, and to get back to it. But they were there tweaking their asses off. They were there for months. Okay. So what you have is at a certain point, then they really run to the
AK-47. Do you mean the pearly gates? All right, H. Later. Have fun. Do you mean the pearly gates? Yeah, I know you've been around for a long time. I don't think you mean the police gates. Do you mean the pearly gates? Because you said, I know when I go to the police gates,
I know I got a lot of explaining, and there's probably going to be a couple. Yeah, I knew. I thought that's what you meant. Me too. Me too. I'm going to be there for a little while. For sure. We all will be.
Bottom of the driveway. And we're doing this sort of crouched down, had knives in their hands and shit. And they were yelling, going over on the other neighbor's property who was a Vietnam vet and going through recurrence cancer and all this other stuff too. And chasing people. There was nobody. We were like, they're like, did you see it here and white in this air and khaki? We're like, no, bro. And no. And it was the wildest shit, right? And then a couple months later, what you have is we're moving out and this and the other. I started having a medical incident. And we had to get an ambulance there. And we were trying to come back to them, like, Amy taking them again up in my face, trying to steal my phones. The kids trying to keep her from doing it. They took, and then these bitches get out here and want to be lying. And they get dates wrong and do all shit and a lie. And then Kim had to be like, we went to the FBI. Well, the fuck did you just, like, you dumbasses, you know? But, yeah, I mean, like, no. I mean, it's stupid. And Andy.
So people were getting up in Jody's face, trying to take her phone. Okay.
He helped in that recording. I mean, he don't very much look. I mean, it's just stupid and evil and terrible. But the thing is, it all goes back to squall. And this group told me in the first few days come into contact, and they started busting out their ring stuff and what they were doing and around the scamathon and everything else. I was very much told one night that I needed to run over to Benny or Tiffany and say everything I needed to know because Squall was making my son look like, and she did, by God. She went live and making my son look like Chasing's done it with Cam and all of them done it. And
there's been a lot of people. Bye, Stein Eric. Stein Eric, I promise you, I have not forgot the diagram and stuff that you sent me. That it's just it's a lot to process, and I want to make sure that I understand all of it. I just wanted to let you know that. I'm not ignoring what you sent me or anything.
And
I seen all of them do it for sure.
Yeah. And the thing is, it was already up on Cam's channel months before, and on Facebook too, from him saying that it was verified it wasn't my son. And even Jenna had released the real pictures of the real guy, and he was around one of the psychic ones trespassing and all this. They all know it wasn't my son, but even if it were, it would be on their property in daylight months after. But it's his thing, right? And
well, that is messed up because I mean, I know we kind of don't believe that CPS took the boys because it was dangerous up there, because I think it was dangerous up there before Summer went missing. But I mean, there was weird people trying to go up there, right?
Do you think Amy Tate and all them, who goes by, I think, the Amy Lou, and then you've got Pam, she goes around by that, whatever. Girl, but many other names. But do you think that law enforcement and feds weren't still there and around, or aware, or DCS seeing this tweaker flood on the news? Your daughter just vanished, and you're like, I had to check YouTube to see what Dudley was. And they're not like, this is a danger. Do you not think Amy Tate and them, who were calling in false calls, making my son look somebody's doing all this destructive shit around our lives, weren't part of the reason the boys were taken, or that Donning handed supposedly, allegedly, and even according to their own words, to all of us, failed piss tests at the time? Do you not think that's part of that? Do they not hold a role in the real danger of Summers Brothers after?
Yeah. Well, that's what I said, because it tells a lot that they signed the boys over. And of course, Don said it was, well, you know, they told me they'd keep bringing me back to court, making me pay court costs, and they were going to make him pay child support. Well, those are his kids.
Right.
So to me, that said, if that was true, that they had something, probably 3 different boys, they probably could have kept bringing him back different things for the different boys, individual boys. Yes.
Pissed. I remember her being on the phone, and it was during times gag order stuff like that. It's like, girl, you need to shut up. If you have a gag order and you can't even talk to this one, that one, you need to shut up. Shut up.
Right.
No. But she was like, man, the child support, this girl's sitting there thinking, bro, and what she told me the amount was still wasn't shit. You know, I'm like, yeah, you should be paying child support, bro. All of them like that.
Now, from my understanding, and look, I'm not a Candace fan. I'm not a Dawn fan. Don't know either one of them.
I just don't think that, we would be friends. But I believe when Candace went to work, that she was actually paying child support. I am sure that other people, while Dawn was in jail, tried to help her and make sure that the child support was paid. The weird thing about that, when Dawn went to jail, at some point we seen Candace, she got to a pretty low space, but then when she started hanging out with Kathy, the friend, you know, they had went and seen the boys, and I think that I think she was trying. Then Dawn got out of jail, and you know everything that she had strived to at least do a little bit better, I think that was kind of thrown out the window. Not to be rude, but did they take them right away? Or was it a couple days before the boys were... It was in July. Summer went missing June 15th, and the boys were taken sometime in July. Does anybody remember the exact day? Because I know the around the exact time is out there, but I believe it was in July. And if I'm wrong, please somebody tell me. Please, please, please.
So it's like Monster. Look at him. He ain't paid child support 1 year, but he's made a fuck ton off targeting his fucking kids.
Right.
He and Salt Pump have stolen off of them, filed taxes on it, took pandemic bucks off it, and they're making money, making look at Cheryl. They run things to make my little look like she did. Man, she was like a preteen. What?
That's what got me, because the only thing that kind of stuck out with me, and that was pretty messed up. Now, I have to say that this is alleged because I didn't hear it myself, but the person I was having a conversation with, I totally believed what they said, was that there were 2 individuals on a live that actually came out and accused Jody's daughter. It was so fucked up. That was fucked up. But I never watched those people anyway, so it kind of didn't surprise me when that was mentioned to me. Was this already in the process of the children? We don't know. We don't know, AK-47. We do not know if what CPS was doing. All we know is Dawn, and I don't know if Candace has said it, but Dawn said they were closing the case. Dawn said when CPS came, they were closing the case that was open. He said it was about the kids and their little toy BB guns. So that's all I know off the top of my head about it. Other than that, CPS hasn't come out and said anything. So we can really only go by, me with the Andy stuff is the seeing Summer. That's the only thing that kind of, I was like, why, dude? Why would you say something like that?
But he didn't say he's seen her. In the piece, and what Little said when I said it is up there, but they hit it. Penny and them hit it. And they did that so it could rile him up real good and make him think we had said the other, just like with the sedative shit, right? It was a way to keep him on the hook.
And I'm going to say this. I don't know Penny. I've never had a conversation with Penny at all. But there's a lot that that name is attached to. A lot of different things going on. That name's attached to it. But like I said, I don't know her. I know that her and Benny had that channel together. Whatever they had a falling out about, I do not know. Definitely ain't going there. But yeah, it's just weird because they'll give out names and then they talk about clicks, right? And then there'll be so many individuals in the clique, so many creators in this clique. And so they kind of all, when most of the time when I hear someone mentioning one of them, it's all of them. It's like 4 or 5 different names.
Blame me to do all things. But he was back here, same time. He was already playing games with Candace Dawn. He was online. He was already in the background. He was already asking for money. Right. Everybody here had heard him say he didn't give a fuck. In these words, he didn't give a fuck about Summer, but he thought because these people lied to him that were making $500 an interview, he was like, I just want the money. People heard him say it. And for one of the few times Tiffany Marie told the truth, and she admitted it, works, crimes, and lies. That look at, I mean, that's all he wanted, just like money, just like, I mean, and they have gotten paid for it. So it's like whatever, man. But it was never said that he seen Summer's dead body, and it was never said by us, and he didn't see Summer's body. And I hate to talk about the way it's terrible.
Well, and I'm glad I asked Jody that, because that's one thing that always kind of bothered me was you know, Andy seeing Summer's remains, and that was all weird. I remember Andy answered the question also once, and he was like, I don't think he really even knew what they were even talking about, to be honest. But yes, it had come out that Jody and her little one was talking about Andy, and he was very upset, and I don't know. It was really weird. But if you do take the time to go find it or whatever, try to listen to the whole thing. And then you can decide whatever you think that all of it meant. Because I think Andy was like maybe a dream. I don't know. Kind of weird, but I am glad I asked her that. I thought maybe, you know, he might have, I didn't know, with your daughter, I'm not going to talk about her. I know she's young. Maybe wanted to go hang out or something, you know, down the driveway or something. And I thought maybe he said, no, you ain't going out there. You know, we're watching you or whatever.
No, he's pissed off. Straw Pump had dropped an earring in the floorboard trying to be a cliche-ass bitch and get him caught. He knew she done it or whatever hanky-panky they were into, getting mud smears in my car and, you know, and all things. But he come in and...
That's totally up to you, AK-47. But Jody sat on my panel and said she doesn't do any type of medication like that. Whatever medication you're thinking. And let me tell you something. If you don't believe people just because they smoke marijuana, then I think that you're going to come across a lot of people that you're not going to believe, because for real.
AK-47. Bye, Stein Eric. Lord have mercy. Girl. We do not need to know that you drinketh the booze. Okay? He definitely said it was a dream. I believe him. Trauma gets into your subconscious at Beach Creep is definitely trauma. That is a good point, Debbie. That is a great point, for sure. But no, I'm not setting it. Look, I'm not going to sit over here and say that Jody's doing anything like that, because guess what? I don't live with her. I don't know her personally. So I'm not going to assume that she's doing anything like that. And she said she wasn't taking anything. So why would I not believe her? You're quick not to believe her, but Andy Maid was saying this out loud. Yes, it is on YouTube, Debbie. I will write it down. Oh, wait. Okay, I'll write it down, see if I can find it. Yeah, because he does it. I remember because he's sitting outside on a swing. Well, Jody's already said that, yes, she has told law enforcement things that she's not going to tell YouTube. And I don't care what anybody says. I respect her for that. If she knows things that she's not going to come out on YouTube and say it. And that's the way it should be done. That's the way it should have been done. So, but I don't think anybody's saying anything about you over here, AK-47. I know. You're fine. I'm not telling you to respect her. Yes, we all want Summer found. We absolutely do. But I understand what you're saying. Girl, you feel however you want to. Well, the thing about it. Well, okay.
Fun Fest also going and everything, and he wanted to use money and I guess take her. Anyway, it was like, you know, he always did that. He wanted to start a fight or something before he'd take off. It would give him an excuse to, quote, break up for a few days, take off, stick it in something else, and then come back. But this time, stop haven't been pushing. She'd thrown stuff that mattered to me around my grandfather's funeral out of my car. She thought it was his car with a dumb bitch. It was not. It was just in his name. I was paying for it. But he mind fucked her and made her think he was paying. It was all a situation. But she had dropped an earring trying to get him caught because she was pushing and pulling. I can tell you she was. Fact. And he kept telling me, if you don't let me quit this job, which is basically getting away from her and trying to separate and hoping to be enough time, it's going to destroy lives. Wait and see. Right? And so I was like, all right, whatever. But that evening, he was trying to start an argument, and he knew she dropped the earring. I've shown it. It's a little butterfly when I use some of the thumbnails and things. But yeah, I found it. Anyway, he was like, I'm taking the fucking car, and you're going to whatever, and I'm going to clean the floorboards out, and you're not going to ask questions. And I'm like, really, that's weird. That's real weird. Well, okay, you tell me somebody's been in my car, what's in my car? And then he was like, and I want to go do something for what's this here, and Fun Fest is it. I'm like, so wait a minute. You want to go somewhere suddenly, and The kids aren't allowed. It doesn't matter if anybody gets out of the box. Your kid's going out and having a good time, eating it, tastes right. None of that matters. And it was that he wanted to take her bag and her fucking kids out to try when he never did anything with his kids like that. Hell, he just beat me on our son's birthday and wanted me to take him.
I'm going to say trigger warning. Jody's talking a lot about her DV stuff, and she's, you know, she's expressing how she feels, how she's been made to feel. She's just talking her truth. I do not know Andy. I don't know his wife. I definitely am not here to talk about anybody's children. So I just wanted to put that in there for sure. Okay, you're gonna go listen to music? We will see you later, Stein Eric. Have a good day.
Him with my money to Gatlinburg on our son's birthday. That's how he was to us. But then he wanted to do all that and then give him my perfumes, my expensive shit, all our DVs to her kids. I mean, like, it's sick what he does. Okay, my diamond necklaces. Meanwhile, these I just can't with it. It's gross and sick what he does. Okay,
right.
But in that, what he was doing when he realized that wasn't working, and I was like, all right, whatever, you know, dude, that's pretty shitty. But I and Eldest and Little were there, and obviously, and he was doing this at the doorway of my cabin. And Little was beside me, Eldest was right outside the doors, and then he starts on. He knew it wasn't triggering me enough, right? Wasn't getting a response, anger, a fight,
right?
And I was like, "Are you telling me somebody's gonna be in my car?" And or has been, or something like fun. And he really lit off, and then it became "fuck you, love this," right. You know, when he knew we were all having a hard time with Summer Vanishing, he knew that it had bothered Little and Eldest enough, and hearing and seeing what we did that day, you know, that we were traumatized, like fully fucking fucked up, you know? And he knew, and abusers do that. They'll find something you care about or bother by, and they just dig, you know, they grab it and use it. So that's all he was doing. And what he said was, you know, Candace and Dawn have killed her, and she's out there somewhere, and you know, and then he described decoy. I mean, but he never said he saw Summer's body or anything else. And then during the marathon first day or two, the Summer stuff, Little was sitting beside me in that hotel room they had, and she wanted to speak on something, you know, in the abuse. And so she said that when she did, you know, then they eventually hit it. But it is over on my channel, though. The only format left here from that point was this narrated, look what Jody C's making her say, like everything else, right? That they've done and tried to take my little.
Oh my God, look at that. See, this is what pisses me off. I forgot about this. You love me for letting Jody talk, and then you turn around. I don't know what you did, girl.
On voicing statements way. It's like when she spoke about Andy calling fat and using food to abuse her. Just like they're like, oh, Jody made her say that, and Jody made her cry. No, I didn't. That child's old enough to speak. She could in court legally. She has every time. And if she's old enough.
And that's one thing, too. They went to court. And Jody's daughter spoke up in court. So, I mean, that just needs to be nipped in the bud right there. I don't know. I don't know how fucking Jody did it. Having her whole life fucking thrown in her face. Every fucked up thing that happened in Jody's life, they all made sure to not let her forget it. She's saying what Andy said about Summer's body was untrue completely. He did it to hurt her mentally and says it was a dream. Now it's completely a wreck of a story. Yeah, cursed. I heard Andy say something about it being a dream, right? So that's what I heard.
I thought I heard Andy say something about it being a dream, right? I'll pull it up. I'm pretty sure I can find it. Because I kind of remember when Andy answered the question, he kind of acted like he was confused about it, right? She's not the first YouTube casualty, and unfortunately she won't be the last. YouTube is a pretty, yeah, there's some evil bum scum out there. When I got up on Morbid, it's a long time ago, I ducked myself right away. What are you talking about, AK-47? Lord have mercy. It's okay. Do you want me to sing you a song? But yes, cursed. Oh, the Legos. That was you? You did the Legos? That is really cool. For sure.
No speaking court, and she wants to speak, but then to take that child's voice away from her as a survivor of that fucking monster,
right?
That's foul. You're over here about children, but you're going to take that child's voice. But that's what they did with it, and then they hid all those pieces so they could feed that shit to Andy. Plus, they played a hoax, wasted FBI time. They illegally ran the tag out here on the exterior. Comes back to Andy, and I used it as a form of bait for him because I knew it would come. Right. Then they call him hoax, saying Andy's here, Summer's body's in here, me and Andy are living together, and with orders and black. I mean, took it, and they all shut up and they're like, look, we know this is bullshit. I was like, you want to come in? They were like, no, not really. We're just letting you know, and we're calling all the other shit they've called.
Yeah, and isn't that fucked up, Jody, that law enforcement continuously has to be called by people and be like, look, they're saying this stupid shit. I'm willing to come in, give you whatever you need. And even law enforcement is like, no, let's not do that. You know, and it's like, why waste their time when they're trying to spend it using, you know, facts to try to find out what happened to Summer.
Right. Well, if y'all ever go back, I was on a live with Tiffany. Weirdly enough, it's weird happens, ain't it? I won't pretend she ain't up to no fuck shit. She's the leader of the fuck shit right here. But and everybody was always like, "Watch that snake, Jody. Your friends." Like, no, I wasn't that stupid. But anyway, the thing is,
yeah, I forgot. I was gonna show her that little video that I can't remember the name of the channel did, where Jody's saying, "I'm a snake. I'm a snake. I'm a snaky snake." I thought it was good. I liked it. But, you know, you got to be able to laugh at yourself.
I was on Tiffany Marie's, and Sharon, Dawn, and Cam, and everybody in Kansas playing a stupid game. Somebody in that realm, and you can see how it all works out, that they've held all the pieces. And right. I've shown, but while I'm on panel, they made sure to call in that hoax. And to do that while I was on live stream, so Tiffany and him, and at the time I didn't realize what was happening in real time. I'd become live to these people, but not like it was a, you know, steppage thing.
Right.
But it didn't take me long to figure out what they'd done. And so I was on live with Tiffany, and what they did was they did that whole hoax call. All of a sudden, YouTube lit up with this. Oh, they're up on 125 because Summer's remains, right?
Oh,
and then a pawn, and it was like, huh? There's no pawn. What? And Tiffany's asking me questions suddenly, and sharing them are live, and there's rooms everywhere wide open. And I immediately, I was like, I don't know what they're talking about, but okay. Tiffany asked me if I could get a hold of anyone or for them, but I messaged other neighbors who had line of sight on everything. And they're like, girl, there ain't no cops in here.
Right.
Candace pretends like she's all innocent of all things, and she's like, no, you know, no, they're playing all shit together. Anyway, and basically the reason it was done is to judge or see what my reaction would be.
You're not
to hearing
AK-47. You're not
You're not making any sense with what you're saying at all. Okay? For real. For real. So, true crime cars and guitars. That's interesting. That is an interesting name. Playing Monopoly. Candace allegedly was playing Monopoly when they came to search. I never heard Ziggy say she found remains. I know that they showed some deer bone, but I don't think she ever came out and claimed that they were human remains. I will give Ziggy that.
Summer had been found on one point, and that's pretty gross.
Right.
And seeing it, I was like, oh God, I got to run from FBI right there. So, you know, and it was stupid. Who does that? Who plays games?
That's the whole fucking thing about it. That's a shitty game to play.
I didn't just contact neighbors right then. I contacted real on the ground fucking journalists.
Right.
All there, and they were like, no. But then they still, because of the calls coming in, had to send crews down to see.
Right.
And no, none of that was happening. You know, and so it wastes journalists' time who were actually working on Summer's case. It wasted, and law enforcement even had to go check it out. Wasted law enforcement just to see what reaction they got from Jody Seal and Tiffany's.
Wow.
And to get content in the room.
And I know there's people going, I don't fucking believe you. But yes, these things happen. These things happen. These things happened in Summer Wells' case. For real. Nothing anybody does using Summer Wells' name anymore surprises me. For real. Cindy Sue. They did happen. Which part happened? Cindy Sue. I'm lost. I don't know what they did happen means. They did happen. Okay. Gosh, I said a lot. I've been on here over an hour. They did happen. Oh, that happened? What Jody said about... Oh, what Jody's saying right here? What she's saying right here, Cindy Sue? Yes, that did happen. It absolutely happened. I mean, you guys, I'm telling you, I have learned so much about what some of these people did to Jody. And let me tell you, I don't care if y'all like Jody or not. I don't care if you believe her or not. But that shit was real life for her. Real life. It wasn't just people, fucking off on the YouTube streets and saying shit. This was affecting her real life. Her real life. Okay, AK-47. I've been watching too. But I've always said this, and I'll continue to say this. There are so many different things, just so many different things. You have to, in your mind, separate a lot of different stuff. My mind just went blank. Little fires, I call them. There's little fires everywhere. Little fires everywhere. And you have to take that shit and be like, look, that doesn't have anything to do with Summer. That has to do with money, right? Some of the money stuff that went on. You know, you have to. You have to. I try to screen name. I always try to cross-reference if I can. But if I don't remember something correctly, I say I don't remember it correctly. At all. I say that a lot. I remember this, but I could be getting a couple things mixed up. That's why I want people to, you know, every once in a while, somebody throws me a bone, and I can remember quite a bit of stuff. Well, and that was a sad thing because, you know, we just watched so much. It got to where Dawn and Candace, especially Dawn, I mean, he's coming on YouTube, he's getting all fucked up, doing shit, and then he's saying weird ass shit, and it's like, dude, what, I mean, damn, I bet you Don Wells would have to, I bet he would take accountability for doing weird shit on social media. He ain't been around, he ain't come back on social media, and that was probably the best thing he could have done. I think every once in a while he may come out or something. I don't freaking know. But you know, I wouldn't even know what to ask Don. He said so much weird shit that it's like,
I didn't understand this room. I didn't know this is where they're at playing it, but I knew in certain ways it's like, I was like, you know, him back on, and I thought Messenger, Facebook, that type of thing, right?
Right.
And I was like, they're just contacting you every summer, and it's not real. Yeah, and they're like, it's fine. We know they're fucking with us. We're fucking with them. It's like Jen and them. I knew they're all bullshit. Like, people underestimate those two. They ain't that. And I knew they were laughing at people and playing games with like, and they knew that, you know. And then obviously as time went on, and I did become aware of YouTube and what was going on those things, and you know, and as I was on Facebook, and Candace and I and Don were still communicating at that point, all the way till I guess after Dr. Phil. And right there around, I know the Dr. Phil was getting air because that was one of the last conversations Candace and I had because of what she tried to do to me.
Right.
And anyway, I was like, "Ah, fuck this."
And that shit, okay, that shit was allegedly over the Scream.
No, people put it out that way. It's not. Go back to my live time and all that, which, well, they're not. I think that one.
Yeah, I'll have to go back to some of your lives.
But no, I mean, I've said it many times. I've corrected PG's narrative, which she wants to pump out. It's about the script. No, Candace was giving us hint, wink, nod that they were after money and that I was wrong and that I needed and she was vacant. I needed to wrap my story around Dawn in the shower. And
okay, Dawn in the shower. Okay, I get it. Okay. You all just heard that, right? Jody Sue and Candace, they were talking to each other until, you know, shit went sideways. And go back and look at some of the things that Dawn and Candace did on social media. They called Dawn's stepsister Mary, and oh my gosh, that call is out there. Please feel free to go find it and look at it. It's crazy. Crazy. All right, AK-47. What did you do wrong? You're just having all kinds of problems today, aren't you? We all make mistakes.
Right, because, and I don't know why, and I didn't become aware until after that, and I didn't understand why the world over here on YouTube ate me alive for saying that. And see, by the time I come along over here, Allie and all them had already been, and I didn't listen to them. And so a lot of pieces were already hidden. So I didn't know that True had already said this. I didn't know that Dawn himself had already admitted to being in the shower somewhere in the boys. I didn't know. And so when I say it, why in the hell does it hold more weight? Why do I get eaten alive for it?
Right.
But that's what happened. And I fought back against it. And then it took still months later for me to figure out it had been said. That's on live somewhere too. I'm like, wait, True didn't already said this? Hold up. So why did I get eaten alive and they didn't? And wait, Dawn,
exactly.
And why did it matter to Candace whether I said or not? But then after that, you have her with Ernie going, I didn't know nothing about that, and pretend gagging and vomiting it.
That's true. That is true. Just like Jody said it. That's exactly how it happened. That's interesting. I got to take that back a little bit.
And seeing it, I was like, oh God, I got to run from FBI right there. And it was stupid. Who does that? Who plays games?
That's the whole fucking thing about it. That's a shitty game to play.
I didn't just contact neighbors right then. I contacted real on the ground fucking journalists.
Right.
All there. And they were like, no. But then they still, because of the calls coming in, had to send crews down to see.
Right.
And no, none of that was happening. And so it wastes journalists' time who were actually working on Summer's case. It wasted, and law enforcement even had to go check it out. Wasted law enforcement just to see what reaction they got from JC on Tiffany's.
Right.
And to get content in all the rooms right where they take people.
Well, and that was a sad thing because, we just watched so much. It got to where Dawn and Candace, especially Dawn, I mean, he's coming on YouTube. He's getting all fucked up, doing shit. And then he's saying weird ass shit. And it's like, dude, what I wouldn't even know what to ask Dawn. He said so much weird shit that it's like,
I didn't understand this room. I didn't know this is where they're at playing it, but I knew in certain ways it's like, I was like, him by contact, and I thought Messenger, Facebook, that type of thing, right?
Right.
And I was like, they're just contacting you every summer, and it's not real. Yeah, and they're like, it's fine. We know they're fucking with us. We're fucking with them. It's like Jen and them. I knew they're all bullshit. Like, people underestimate those two. They ain't that. And I knew, and they were laughing at people and playing games with like, and they knew that, And then obviously as time went on, and I did become aware of YouTube and what was going on, all those things, and as I was on Facebook, and Candace and I and Dawn were still communicating at that point, all the way up till I guess after Dr. Phil, and right there around, I know the Dr. Phil was getting air because that was one of the last conversations Candace and I had because of what she tried to do to me.
Right.
And anyway, I was like, fuck this.
And that shit was allegedly over the Scream.
No, people put it out that way. It's not. Go back to my live time and all that, which, well, they're not. I think that one.
Yeah, I'll have to go back to some of your lives.
But no, I mean, I've said it many times. I've corrected PG's narrative, which she wants to pump out at that Scream. No, Candace was giving this hint, wink, nod that they were after money and that I was wrong and that I needed and she was vacant. And I needed to my story around Dawn in the shower. And
Dawn in the shower. Okay, I get it.
Right, and I don't know why, and I didn't become aware until after that. And I didn't understand why the world over here on YouTube ate me alive for saying that. And see, by the time I come along over here, Allie and all them had already been, and I didn't listen to him. And so a lot of pieces were already hidden. So I didn't know that True had already said this. I didn't know that Dawn himself had already admitted to being in the shower somewhere in the boys. I didn't know. And so when I say it, why in the hell does it hold more weight? Why do I get eaten alive for it?
Right.
But that's what happened. And I fought back against it. And then it took still months later for me to figure out it had been said. That's on live somewhere too. I'm like, wait, True didn't already said this? Hold up. So why did I get eaten alive and they didn't? And wait, Dawn,
exactly.
And why did it matter to Candace whether I said or not? But then after that, you have her with Ernie going, I didn't know nothing about that, and pretend gagging and vomiting. But that's when she's hinting and winking and vague whatever at me, like I needed to make that go away.
Right.
So they could make money and get their good cleansing on the Dr. Phil. Like, yeah, no, yeah. And I ain't changing my witness statements or last memory. I'm not doing that for you, period, homie.
Yeah, no doubt.
I don't care if it's just Summer being in the shower.
Do you think, though, Jody, do you think that a lot of that shit that was said, that, along this timeline bullshit, that a lot of what they were saying was, I thought maybe some of it was Candace trying to make herself look like a good mother at first, so the boys wouldn't get taken away.
I told her on the road at one point. I don't know how long after Summer had vanished, but see, I wasn't aware of what their story was, right? Neighbors eventually sent me a screenshot of, I believe, the Rogersville Review. And I remember the neighbor and I was like, what the fuck is this shit? And the neighbor was like, right. And I was like, that's a lie. This is bullshit. I was like, you're a witness too. You know that's a lie, right? And hold on. What?
Right.
And that's what I become aware.
AK-47. If it happened over on Matthews, then get with Matthew about it. For real. Get a hold of Matthew about it. Because I don't know anything about it. I'm sure we can find his email. He knows. I really, really apologize. Okay, so what do you want? What do you want me to do? Did he accept your apology? I don't even know what you did. You just saying you lied. Okay, but right now I'm talking about Jody Sue. But give me a couple minutes, I'll let you fill me in, okay?
Where the succulents and the pepper, I'm like, what the
fuck? I thought that was weird, because then they showed, I called them cactuses, because that's what they were all. They all had freaking needles on them. And I'm like, how the fuck is Summer going to pick up those cactuses and plant them? There's no way. There's no way.
You can hold them gently along the hand, but I mean, there are others that were succulents there. But the thing is, no matter what.
Oh, okay. I get you, AK-47. You're just using it as an example. You're talking about it as an example. I get it. We do all make mistakes. But, if you make a mistake, the best thing to do is just own up to it. Own up to it and tell the person that you lied on or whatever. I don't know. It's so horrific because I lied. That's going to carry on forever. Well, I've still got time on this recording that I'm doing, because I'm covering an interview I did with Jody Sue. But before I end my live, I don't know how to make you feel better about it. If you apologize to Matthew and he accepted your apology, then I would just move on. That I don't know what she said to Matthew, Debbie. I don't know.
I don't know, but I need to get this interview finished so you can hang around and wait till I'm done. Or whatever you would like to do. All right, here we go.
At a certain point, like, and that's the thing, we're all in there living amongst one another still, but I didn't go to them like, hey, what's your story? What's this and what's that? I mean, they're real moments that I know the feds hold where I become aware of these things. I'm like, what the fuck?
Right.
So I went over like, hey, Candace, no, what's this there? But what's YouTube say? It says, oh, me and Candace, no, everybody, we're getting our stories together. Yeah. Everybody said, well, what a bang up job that was, right? Yeah, woo! Yeah.
Well, that's my thing. I mean, everybody coming out, they come out.
I just knew they went with the whole summer was taken thing eventually. I came to that awareness, but then I didn't know about the succulents until the Rogers Review piece, and they were sent that.
Right.
And but yeah, I told Candace at a certain point in the road, I was like, girl, you and I both know this. I understand you're trying to look a little better. I understand you're probably afraid of being arrested because you look like it. But girl, what the fuck is that? Like, what the fuck is that? You know? And I told her, I was like, look, and at this time, I still don't know how to read the situation or anything like that, you know?
Right.
Yeah. I thought there was less, you know, that they did anything. I was still like, you know what I mean?
And that's the thing. This is, you know, I just think if people would have took the time to actually listen to what you were saying instead of immediately trying to attack you. And I never got that. I mean, I kind of go back to Prayer Garden and you and her just screaming, you know, and it's like, why aren't you, if this is about Summer, why aren't you trying to have a discussion about it? Why are you screaming at Jody over her? And you couldn't really get a word in edgewise. That was on Ernie's. Yeah. And you couldn't get a word on edgewise. Yeah. And Ernie's saying, well, let PG talk. And I'm like, all PG's doing was calling you fucking names, was it? Yeah, I'm like, what was the whole purpose in that shit?
Right. Well, they do that, and they'll screw with my audio and stuff too on certain channels, and up and down the volume, and make it harder for me to be. You know, they just do weird stuff. You know, it's normal, and then they want to scream at me, and it's just it's content, man, and it's also to give out narrative, and I like it when any channel's actually talking to me in a normal human manner.
Right.
They don't want me to be seen as human. They want their narrative to continue to exist, and they want people to think they can't. And I understand it's hard to hear me. I'm not oblivious to the fact that my voice is hard to understand. And the more I use it, the more I project, and all that. I mean, it's like I have to stay at a base level with it, right?
I totally get it. I call it my resting bitch voice, Jody. You're like me. After a certain point, when we're talking, you just kind of get a resting bitch voice. That's what I call it.
With mine, we only have like really this level left, and I was supposed to wake up muted for the rest of my life.
Right.
So what I do have in this changed manly voice of mine here, I'm grateful for. You know, and I do understand, and I'm very cognizant and aware that.
Well, social media is a really big body shaming, you know, we'll even call it an organization. YouTube has its own organization. It's all about body shaming. I don't care what anybody looks like, for real. I really don't. And I don't care what different communities anybody hangs out. I don't run around and be like, oh my God, that person's from this community. I don't do that. Y'all are people to me. You're human beings. You have your own individualities. It doesn't matter. Thank you, Poppy. Thank you. And thank you, Diamonds, too. Thank you, girl. Diamonds gifted a membership and sent me a little cash app. I appreciate that. Oh, thank you, Mars.
Are you, let me tell you, no, I do have resting bitch voice sometimes. I really do. And they're like, you say things and we don't know if you're mad sometimes. I have no community. Nobody likes me. I'm just a roundabout. I'm in your bush. I mean, that sounds kind of gross, but I'm in the bush. I'm in the bush. I'm in the bush, in the bush, in the bush, in the bush. Find me, seek me out. No, AK-47. I am not. But thank you for the super sticker. Thank you, AK-47. But no, I'm still not going to go looking for you in the bushes. Oh, thanks, Mars. No, ma'am. Remain calm. Don't go looking in the bushes for nobody. At all.
I do get hard to understand. But I've learned over the years if I do not keep it at a certain level and I don't have that many tones or octaves, right?
Right.
Or whatever, that it burns out. It's hard for me to talk, interact different. And like, if you know me in person, I have to speak differently in person, project my voice. If I'm on a phone call,
thank you again, AK-47.
I have to different. If I'm on
Hey,
YouTube,
Mrs.
it's
T.
different.
Right.
But my voice will go to where I can't use it at all. And I'm aware it's hard and difficult to understand me, especially if I'm not feeling so good or my day-to-day health or if the paralyzed muscles over here pulling more or whatever. Some days I'm not as articulate or well-spoken because my tongue's more numb and my brain has to go, what word can we pronounce versus what's,
Right.
So it's difficult to speak, but I do a great deal. But, I'm aware, but they spend a great deal of time. Look at Angel. She was built to take my voice from me and to make people believe they couldn't understand me.
Right.
But did anybody ever notice when I get up on a creators panel at that time? Oh, everybody could understand me perfectly, but there I was
I've
speaking.
understood you the whole time you've been on my panel. I've understood everything you said. Yep.
But nobody could ever think and stop and go, wait a minute, why are they telling us we can't understand her on our own channel to come watch them as interpreters?
Yes, I get it. Yeah. Yeah, I
Or
get
her,
it.
what's it called?
I did see people doing that. So, and some of them wasn't very nice about it. Thank you, AK-47. That's very kind of you. AK-47 just gifted 5 memberships. Thank you, AK-47.
That they do the things and they read them out to you like Angel talks.
The transcript stuff, yeah.
Right. And then it would be easier to, and so they get out there if you couldn't understand me. I was a mobile mouth. Justin out there going, oh, she's drunk and intoxicated. I think that's foul, especially since he's in PG's. They're not calling me Jody Stew again. That tells you he's right back around on it. But anyway, I mean, it's foul. And knowing all the health conditions. But anyway, it's funny how people couldn't put together. It's like, wait a minute. Why is it we can't understand her? But she's on raps or she's talking to this one, she's talking to that. Oh, we can understand her perfectly. She goes on the creators that either laugh at us to, oh, that's
that
weird.
is true. That's absolutely true.
People start believing in it. Look in the chats. It'll be, I can't understand mumbles or marble mouth or she's so lit or high. I'm glad you all play her. Wait, every creator, every day y'all see play my pieces from my channel. Y'all can understand me just fine.
Right.
Ain't that strange?
Yep. Yeah, I've seen them do that for a long time. I've seen them do that stuff for a long time.
Because hate sells.
It does. It does, Jody. Hate sells. Hate sells. You guys may not believe that, but hate sells. It really does. And thank you again, AK-47. Hey, new members, come over and hang out. Pop into chat, say hey. Ain't nothing wrong with that. We're a pretty easygoing chat. I don't like people to be disrespectful to each other in chat. And just dress your cursing words up. That's about it. For real. We all have our own opinions about stuff, our own theories. I like to have normal conversations. I just don't feel like having the opportunity to have a conversation with somebody and turn it into a screaming match where nothing gets heard. Anytime somebody's screaming at me, I block them out. I don't even hear what they're saying. I really don't. It's very disturbing. Very freaking disturbing. And I was really glad that, you know, I thought it was an excellent conversation. I did. Narrative sells, drama sells.
A lie will travel the world faster than the truth ever will.
That's what I said. A lie don't care who tells it. That's for sure. That's right. A lie does not care who tells it.
Yeah, so, I mean, I just always found it's gross to me. You know, imagine y'all, and look what they do. These creators with cancers and other conditions are like, oh, yeah, whatever. And they're allowed to get treatment. You got people falling and pretending to be their doctors. You got people praying for, you know, and the rest of them. I mean, like AB and them created jigsaw puzzles when my lymphatic fluid was building up my face before I had the heart attack this place caused because it didn't know what to do. My body was in distress, and he creates a damn jigsaw puzzle. And I'll tell you, that lymphatic fluid built up enough in my face that it actually pushed out my good, healthy, nice teeth back there in the back.
Right. Well, I mean, Jody, a lot of people, that was the sad thing about it. I don't know. They didn't look at you. I don't know what AB did because I didn't see it. So, you're right. That had been done with Jody earlier. We might have had a better understanding why Jody is here every day and what she knows. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Well, I mean, sometimes people listen to stuff and they don't or they hear it, but they really don't listen. I guess I put it that way. For sure. You as a human being, you were going through freaking cancer. You were going through so much, and they automatically just looked at you and didn't like you because you were the Wells's neighbors who was telling what the fuck was actually going on around there.
And my brother,
what you knew anyway.
And Justin and all them using my brother's obit to dox whole family. Ziggy driving by, calling the property, and having no care concern that my pap had passed. Pull liner bus, all this garbage they put out. You know, my brother passing, my pat passing, all of us undergoing health stuff and private things they couldn't understand.
Right.
And I mean, laying into that, I mean, and what they did with the red truck thing and the Moselle shit, all this crap, man, had an effect on them. I mean, she had a heart attack. They caused one of my family members a heart attack for that shit, and nobody even took a pause. You know, and then I had a heart attack over it. You think this place cares? No. And then that heart attack's caused me permanent damage to my heart to now certain methods and things that were
available. Hey, I know. I just had a heart attack the 28th of last month. No, month before last. Yeah.
I think I might have heard that, or one of the creators.
Yeah, they put 2 stents in. I got 2 stents in. I had to change a lot.
I actually did have a heart attack, and I've shown the actual proof and receipts out of my medical records online, so you need to can it. You stop that.
That's so silly that anybody would tell somebody they didn't have a heart attack. Somebody was in chat. I can't remember who it was. But they were like, Jody, you didn't have a heart attack. I'm like, why do people need to show their medical records? Maybe that's why I showed myself in a fucking hospital bed. Because I knew how that was going to go.
Does anybody remember the proof I put up showing the ballot health and all that?
I know. Let me tell you, I did a little live laying in my fucking hospital bed because I was like, I know people are not going to believe it. If I just say I had a heart attack, they're not going to fucking believe it.
Yeah. Well, it's like recently, I mean, y'all see me in settings where I had to go in and I have to have blood transfusions and shit, right? There's my name on the damn bag. There I'm clearly getting you It's a blood
Right.
other conditions and cancers and all that I have, and then you have Don B coming along. I mean, like, who really gives a shit? And then you all say,
Don B, every time your name's brought up, let me tell you what I think of. I think of the little bit of a live from Nana's Angels that I have of you highly intoxicated, telling people you were going to pew-pew them in the noggin. What else? Oh, yes, you said that you and Roush, was it, from the TBI, you guys were buddies and that you're high up on the list with law enforcement. And what else did you say? Oh, I know what you did. I have an email from long, long ago where you called me a name. You called me a name, mister. Yeah, he was mad at me. He called me a cunt. He sure did. And I said, oh, since you want to call me that, then I'll be one when it comes to you. That's what I said. I do not like that man. For real. Don B also had to go to court because Candace filed a restraining order, I think, wasn't it? Because he was creeping around everywhere Candace was. Yep. They said, I'll say allegedly, he followed her around in grocery stores. That's creepy. My advice is, I don't incite violence on this channel. If you have a creeper in a grocery store that's following you around, go into the canned goods section. That's right. You know what you need to do with the canned good if you have to. And especially if they look like Don B. Because that is creepy shit. I don't care who you are. That's creepy. Oh, he's a fucking character.
Bro, you don't go to a 7-Eleven and be like, yeah, hook me up this and whatever that. I've been one of the few, I mean, like, Tiffany Big Out, they can have leaky brains all they want. My shit's real and you don't fake it. And
Cotton Candy, stop that. You don't live with Jody. You don't know what she had. Lord have mercy. Or are you saying I didn't have a heart attack? Go back and watch my live where my ass is laying in the hospital bed. I wasn't just laying there to have fun. Jody doesn't go get blood transfusions just for the fuck of it. I mean, for real.
The hospital, you can't go into hospital and be like, hey, give me a few units. And then I had to leave.
And I love you, Cotton Candy boobs, but
hospital. I went out and I jerked my cords, my IV out myself, and I left. I got it right out there in the middle of the night because people had tracked me there, followed me, they were putting it out.
That was messed up.
And I'm still, it's like because of the conditions and others, I mean, like, it's fucked up. But these creators, when they're undergoing cancer, I mean, I had Chris McDonough tracking me down in my fucking oncology and palliative care, bro.
Wow.
Like, I've been unable to go to a doctor and things I need and care. Because
wow. Chris McDonough was checking in with Jody's doctors. That's what she's saying. He was trying to check into all her stuff. Why would he need that? Why would he think that he could access something like that? I don't know. That's weird shit. That's a whole nother different fire right there.
That is a fire on its own. I'll just say that. What happened with him because he was kind of friendly to you, and then what was it? I think he was on, I don't know where he was, but he kind of got nasty with you about something to do with Andy, right? Do you remember that?
I don't remember. I think Doug did that. But
was that Doug?
I think that was Doug, right? Because that's when he was pulling that scam shit, and then he had me down in chat and kept pretending the link went whatever and all this. And then he's like, "I'm contacting Andy." I'm like, "All right, fuck you, then, dude." And then it was way cutting and doing whatever, and get me, and then make it. It's part of the scam grift shit he did, And then you see the blackmail shit I got in the background from him after that. Just shut up and not say anything about what he'd done. Obviously, called him out anyway.
Wow.
But you got all this stuff going on.
There was too much stuff going on, and that's what I've been trying to tell people the whole time. You got to get back to what happened to Summer, because so many little fires got started, and everybody's trying to throw the little fires into the big flame, and it's like, you can't do that. You have to leave.
What good it would have ever done anybody to be illegally accessing hospitals, pretend to be my doctor, pretend to be me too, pretend to be this, showing up as fake bounty hunters, that, calling us fake DCS, whatever, right? Tell me what any of that had to do with Summer, how any of that was going to solve her case, how keeping us boxing from living helps us, or anything areas. But how can we? I mean, and I was declared disabled even before this, right? But I do not get disabled, and I do not have any government system of any kind, and I'm not for all years, and we struggle, whatever. But the thing is, it's like, we couldn't even attend, like, go get a job, like maybe get killed, cut apart, followed. People know what schedule it holds, so then they might come
on. That's fucking creepy, Jody. That's creepy to have fucking people following your ass around everywhere.
Man, I sit here all day. They'll tell you I'm histrionic, but I and family never see these people start. They'll even, it's like I being them creating that you're not being stalked here. While they did have people up on their panels going, yeah, we're stalking her. And it's people have been telling you already. Meanwhile, they'll believe those like Marlena's saying they're being stalked. And chances are Marlena's being, set off and made paranoid, and it's probably by people and other locals, YouTubers are sending to keep her in a certain emotional and mental state, making her think she's being followed and shit, to where then she is out here screaming she's whatever. But here we had the Nanas, the Yennifers, we had the fake police force of Chase, we had looky-loos and zoo petters and local dope money doing the shit, and it was traffic nonstop while Jenny, Adrian, AB, everybody.
I wanted to know why Marlena mentioned Tony Hammond as the person who allegedly was trying to get into her car. Why was his name mentioned? Obviously, if she knew who he was, then Marlena knows of him, right? How does Marlena know of him? I don't know. Just a question.
No, she's histrionic. She's crazy. She's a liar. Oh my God. But then, same breath, they'd have people, and they'd show you. They were stalking. The YouTubers are having it done. People on panels saying, I mean, it's been here, hold on, pretty faces, but they call us liar in the next breath,
Well, I kind of got, hey,
Sandy, how any of that? Was that for, like, you think FBI and TBI and agencies don't know where we're at all times? Did YouTuber stalkers need to do that? Nope.
Yep.
Nope.
I mean, that's the whole thing about it. I was kind of told one time by a person, they were like, oh, law enforcement's watching your channel, and Don and Candace are watching it, and TBI. And I was like, and why would I give a fuck? Why do I care if they're watching me? I'm not saying anything, and I have not inserted myself into a little missing girl case.
I have not.
If they're listening to me, maybe they're trying to learn something.
I don't know. They're watching for a reason,
Right.
And it's like, that's what always gets me. I got people look at my channel or else, they'll be like, I heard what you said earlier. I'm saying TV. I'm like, well, good for you. You think the channel ain't over there.
Well, that's what got me about Marlena too, because she, just immediately started attacking, and I'm like, but she was like, I heard this and I heard that, and I was like, where did you hear it from? Mm-hmm. Because that's been a problem the whole fucking time, is because people run in say shit that they don't know if it's fucking true or not. Hey, Andrew.
does know, and she's been here studying and watching everything online for all these years, just like Fred. But now she's being told to do it. She knows it's pain, so she's getting a little better and a little better at it. She's being told what to say and what narrative, and watch how they're holding her hand and leading her, and
Right.
she's going with it, and they're over talking her. They're, you know what I mean? The same thing they do with Candace on everybody else, you know. And Fred and everybody, and it leads to chaos. But
well, I mean, that's the thing. Marlena coming out like she did. Did she honestly think that people were not going to people weren't going to turn around and know for a fact her contradictions in what she was saying? Now this is what I heard, and I think I talked about this last time I talked about Marlena. Allegedly, she had this friend that was the one that got the 4:30 phone call. She was talking to a friend. She says it was Candace. That's what I heard though. At 4:30, it was a friend or something that she was talking to. Now, whether she talked to Candace like 4 o'clock and then the friend at 4:30 to tell the friend, I don't fucking know. But
could be him. But then it makes you wonder what kind of friend didn't then turn around and call 911 going, hey, this person's saying something's happened or the
not
child.
until 7 o'clock, yeah, 7:30. Because then
Right. Well, I mean,
then what she said was that that the next time she talked to one of the times she's saying she talked to Candace, she says the story of, oh my gosh, call law enforcement or I will. And I'm like, no, I don't see that. I just don't see that happening. But I wasn't.
Michelle talked about that first day or first panel or whatever it was. It's like, I don't know. And it was that the time of the call was 3:30 or 4 o'clock. Well, then that really didn't make a good deal of sense because she said that Candace told her Summer had been missing 20 minutes. That would mean Summer would have literally vanished as soon as they made it up on the hill.
Exactly. That's what I said too. Actually, I got that wrote down too. I'm like, you know, Summer would have had to have went missing right when they got up on the hill.
Right. And then, so the next live show on PG, then they've hammered it down to a 4:37. And what does that overlap? Oh, I don't know. Scream time, right? And then what did PG and Benny do with Candace when they got up there in the 4:30 thing with her and she checked? They're trying to do some buck shit, man.
Well, that was the thing, because if I remember correctly, there was like 4 different 4:30 stories.
Right. And Candace to me the day, because I was on, they played another hoax over here. So the FBI, I was on live and the FBI shows up and I just.
Let's remember the 4:30, right? You had, let's see, the scream 4:30 to 4:42 that Candace said she didn't hear because she was looking for Summer. You had, I think Candace tried to say that she had seen Jody Sue around that time, but I don't know. I remember it being said. I can't tell you, I can't remember where I heard it. So I'm saying allegedly on that. But Candace went to Fred's at 4:30. What else? There was something else. Something else that was going on at 4:30.
Just on that live became aware of Candace, and I was like, oh my god, she said this on Beanie, and there's Beanie. And so I went out and I was like, oh yeah, let's pay, they gotta go. And I shut the live down. I went out and talked to him. I was like, y'all seen this shit? What the fuck? You know? And they were like, what the fuck? You know. But that's on Candace. I don't know why she did it. And she come off at 4:30 off the hill. That's on her, man. You guys should do
she said first, one of the things she said, she was looking for Summer at Fred's because she allegedly seen Chad. Then I thought she said she had seen you
at one
right down there.
You've got the version of Candace is like, I went off hill, I didn't see nothing or nobody.
And then and then she turned around and said, AK-47, what the fuck are you talking about? Nobody's talking about you. We're trying to talk about Summer Wells case. Nobody's saying anything to you or about you. Dang. Nobody needs to guess who you are.
But we're almost done for the day anyway, you guys. Here, I'm gonna go a little while longer. Just a little while. You don't have to explain yourself. AK-47. Do you need a nap? Do you need a nap? Ed, no, I didn't hear the scream because I was in the house looking for Summer, which would have put Summer gone by 4:30.
I think that was recorded on the 18th or 19th, but Crazy Crime Chick got it through some whatever over the 20th overnight. But it had already been recorded like 48, 72 hours after Summer Ranch. Then what it came to do, when it was no longer convenient for them, because if you notice when Dawn let that out, and I remember him in the road in real time being like, "Oh, I sort of doxed you by accident. I showed your cabin or something." I'm like, "Oh God, whatever." I didn't know what he meant though. And I was like, well, whatever. But what it did was, I guess his sister, and once I became aware over here of what had actually been done once I was here, and looking back at that share piece and knowing what correlates, those were dates that his sister's Lonnie McDonough stuff was coming out again.
Right.
He needed something to use, and what did he do? He finally let out the scream thing. This round called him a liar and whatever, but then Crazy Crime Chick's like, no, he's not, because Candace was recorded with him. Yeah, and then when they actually figured out the time of the scream, which they did not know for the longest time. They knew about the scream, but they did not know what time it was. Once they became aware of what time and that it didn't, it wasn't something
but
like
it may not have, been relevant in that.
But Candace immediately was like, fuck her, whatever.
AK-47, you're fine, but you don't have to explain yourself over here, okay? Most of my people wouldn't even have known the things they know. You just told them. So nobody was, I didn't see anybody doing anything. For real. I get it. You got excited. You have a good day. I'm going to be getting off here in a couple minutes anyway.
Oh, well, can't help it. And that's the thing. Why concentrate on just that? Everybody's always so worried about the scream, but never pays attention to the other things we've seen, heard, witnessed that they know of. And the scream, even I'm like, man, it can count, not count, be it that maybe there's an explanation for it one day. It's okay if it's not a thing.
Right.
If it wasn't, I'd love an explanation.
Right. Well, let me ask you this. What did you think? Because Andy calls Pruitt, right? And asking, no, this is when Pruitt was talking to Ziggy, and she started out describing a truck, then went straight for Andy to Pruitt. And,
that's all right.
And he says Andy was there prior. What do you think he meant by that?
I think that's very nuanced detective language. Prior can mean anything, can it?
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. I was like, that could mean a lot.
Wasn't he there prior? He was there that morning.
Yeah, prior, yeah.
He was there his prior whole ass life too.
I know, yeah. That's exactly what I thought too. I was like, fuck, that's not telling us shit.
No, it's fucking with Ziggy and Fred. And you think that man took that long in between getting that email and calling back without thinking about it?
That's crazy.
And it's like Kathy and Fred, and they're dipping the phone bullshit. All it was is they finally had Laura, because you can see how long it's been since Laura responded to Andy in Messenger. And she finally messages him back, probably because she got money and shit. And, Andy was like, man, we didn't see you on 15. And she, replies, oh, yeah, we did this there. And then Fred and Kathy never run right to have the phone dip. Right. Because if you have a liar say something to someone in an inbox, then people, especially out here, will be like, oh, if they said it, then it must be true. Yeah. That doesn't mean you have a liar saying something on purpose to someone intentionally, and then say a Fred and Ziggy trying to say it. You can't.
Well, they cannot. Fred's telling people, oh, I seen Brandon Clark by his mailbox at 8:00 that morning. I seen Andy's uncle sitting at the bottom of the hill watching for Andy Bernard, Jackie Dobbs, and
I seen this and I seen that, and I know where the cameras are.
Fred saying we were camping out at the driveway for 3 days straight. How would he?
Yes.
How would he have known that? He lives like way up in the hollow. Like, what were you doing? You think? But we weren't.
Well,
And you
he
can
must have
see
been down there too, right?
And on my lives on my Facebook that weren't made public until way later on, obviously, and some that have not been. The very next day, I'm there, and helicopters flying me. I'm at the top of the hill. I'm not at the bottom. He said Andy didn't go back to work for weeks, or this here run off immediately. But yet here's Andy the next morning taking the dog to the vet, running errands, going to work.
Right.
Andy went right back. You know, like, you're lying, bro. Nobody said the driveway for 3 days trying to figure out what's going on. Why would we ask you? Feds, law enforcement, card teams, specialists, profilers were face to face with us on top of the hill, bottom, everywhere else. Would call us the command center if needed. We'd talk to detectives wherever they needed. Nobody had to be sitting at the hill going, what? No, that was Fred coming up to all of us and visiting us.
Yes, okay.
Our
I
driveway
figured
didn't
that.
know what was going on.
Right.
So,
yeah, because I mean that freaking oh, she's saying a lot right there. Fred was coming around them. He was more coming around them, is basically what she's saying. Right? Well, the thing about it is, about the 4:30, I mean, Jody said the screen, 4:30, 4:42, something like that, right? Candace said she didn't hear it. She was looking for Summer. I can't remember where that was said. I can't remember. Then, Candace was supposed to be at Frank Lights at that time. Oh, no, Fred Hill. Fred Hill. I'm getting them mixed up. Fred Hill. And I thought something else. There's something else, too. It's out there. It's out there. All I gotta do is go look for it. Recording Don Wells bullshit. I'm like,
you notice he's always like, oh, Andy and JSB, you're on recordings. Okay, well, you were supposed to be recording Don, but conveniently that oopsie and delete them.
Right.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, those disappeared, didn't they? It didn't work out too well or something.
Right.
I don't know.
Right. But that's weird. But then there at the same time in real life, what you have occurring is Dawn out there looking to you, at least on Facebook posts, and what was being sent to me by their neighbors and stuff will be screenshots of Dawn acting woo batshit crazy Russian, whatever, you know, and religious zealotry, whatever it is, and being like, oh, the army needs to be brought in to kick indoors people who ain't agreed. And then aiming at Fred, obviously, and all this there. And then him and Fred would meet up in the road and be like, hey, man, and like bro dogging and very quiet and calm with each other, cool as fucking could be. And then the next second, like, I'm like, what the? And then the other neighbors, they'd screenshot something like, man, is Don okay today? He's having a mental fucking break. Man, is he okay? You know, we're scared for it. Like, this is the mental. I was like, man, that's weird because I can hear him see him right now face to face. I can hear him laughing, cutting up. He's cussing. I just seen him 2 minutes ago at the bottom. He's fine. We were bullshitting, shooting the shit about random stuff. And it seems life is normal for them. They're able to laugh, smile, do whatever, act going the hell on. You know, I mean, he definitely wasn't under preaching the word of Christ and Russians and the army needs to invade everybody else's houses.
Right.
I mean, but yeah, okay. Don's fine. I don't know what to tell you.
Well, that's what was funny. I mean, you know, here he was getting back into the SDA church, even though he was doing his shit on the side. Allegedly. When they started talking about Summer being worth her weight in gold.
That was a Bobo interview, wasn't
it? Well, not only that, but Marlena said he told her dad that. Fred said it. So, you know, it kind of seems like Don saying that.
Well, he did say similar in the Bobo interview. So there's a little truth to that. Just like I think there is to what Fred told me in real time in the road. Because the first time I ever heard anything like that was, you know, it was about Don's first visit that first night down to Fred's. And when Fred come up looking for info from us hunting an imaginary dog and all that shit, Fred was like, oh man, you know, Don told me this and the other, and it was some version. It was a bunch of like different religions and their verses gobbledygook together, but it basically and essentially was like a version of Summer was dirty and needed to be cleansed type thing. It wasn't sacrifice though, it wasn't anything like that. I thought it was gross and weird naturally, because Don was in a mood already about religion. I mean, that was nothing new. Look who they called first cloak behind. That'd be Robin and Dotson, in church. And that was something we all knew as their neighbors, community members, that every time Don went out and did something bad, the Saturday, it was like a week long, oh, Don's religious suddenly. So didn't expect any different, but didn't expect to go on this long. But yeah, so that would have been unheard of. But then you have him and Marlena within a certain amount. It becomes a sacrifice thing. Then after her dad dies on the screen, and it's, oh, Dad said, I'm like, really, all right. If I hear one more person say their dad said, we're to lay it off on the word, I swear to God.
I know. I mean, they sure said a lot of people that aren't here no more to speak up for themselves.
And people just pay attention to Fred and that jail call. What he actually says is while he's in jail, he just learned this.
Right. But, okay, I have to ask you about this because what was the fucking story about the prostitute, Candace and Don? Allegedly, Candace got her, took her up on the hill. They tied her up and doing bad things. She got away. She was running down the road. Cotton Simpson found her, took her to his place and gave her some clothes. And he was worried his girlfriend would think that it was him that did it. That was a weird fuck. You never heard that story?
Nope.
Are you serious?
I can't believe.
Oh my God, Jody.
I can't fucking believe Jody never heard that story. I cannot believe that she never heard that story. Now I'm going to find the fucking thing. One way or another, I'm going to find it. It's there. I know it is. And I think I know where to find it. I think I do. Because I am not just making this up. I'm not. For real. Okay, I'm almost done. I am almost done, y'all. I'll go 15 minutes and then I got to get off here. So we're going to end up doing what? A part 20? All right, let me play a little bit more of it, y'all. And then we'll talk about what's been said so far. I have to find it.
I can only assume that might have come from the Crystal Spencer real story or one of the others. Don.
Yeah, I don't know. I remember it was
Candace really supposedly beat Crystal's naked ass.
Yes,
and
he did
put her off the hill and made her walk naked. Now, I mean,
yeah, that could have been it. Maybe that's what it was.
But
I don't know. Didn't she come on YouTube though and admit that she slept with Don one time?
No, she ain't told me.
Yeah, but that was supposed to be in the house with Candace.
I mean, right now there are others circling the blocks that we're damn sure don't. That's all I'm saying. That's what you get when you get on dope. You'll fuck up Fred or Don.
That is hilarious.
But yeah, that ain't the only one. I mean, there is a whole history of them, especially. And it's like, man, even real time, weird shit going. There was always some couple that were helping her. And then inevitably what would happen would be like, and it was some sort of always DV or drug use, right?
Right.
And they were trying to help the woman, but inevitably what you're seeing is a separation, but the females stay. And then Cam's be passed out by dark, but then you have Dawn and extreme intoxication of him or his female, whatever, and then them end up fucking or doing whatever. And then it's like, wait a minute. I feel like a Barbie and Ken vibe coming off of this motherfucking place. You remember that couple operating whatever in Canada? It's like, man, what's up with this? And you feel like there's an advantage thing taken, but also it's like, these are dope heads. When they get on certain substances, they'll
that is true.
Meth and stuff makes them all kinds of ways.
Yeah,
but
makes them all kinds of ways. Yeah, absolutely.
So you never could tell. That's the thing. Like you would see or know things, but then you were also like, well, is it this or is it people manipulate? Is it predatory? Is it not? You don't know. But then none of them are going to turn each other in, even if it is predatory, because all of them using dope. I mean, so it keeps anything from me and said if there was predatory behavior, I just don't know.
Right.
And you can't prove it much. You might as well say.
The phone call. Are you talking about the phone call to Mary?
Yeah, Jody's talks about that. Things coinciding with the phone call. Because it was weird because there were some people who had went live, Ernie and Josh from the lab, and I can't remember what they talked about, but Candace used a couple references to things that were said on their lives to say to Mary, like the shit she was saying about storming the Capitol. Ernie had just talked about that on a live. So, for real. For real, for real. So, all right, you can stop, AK-47. You're not going to talk about other creators in here. And why don't you get a hold of Matthew? Go talk to Matthew. For real. So, but all right. What have we learned so far? Thank you, Poppy, for dropping my email. For sure. What? You've already talked about me? What? What'd you say about me? What are you fucking talking about me for? I don't even fucking know you. And if I do, why are you fucking talking about me anyway? For real. Why am I the topic of your conversation? Inquiring minds want to know. Since you've wasted my time. Yeah, we need, you gotta go. You gotta go. Thank you for the membership and stuff. You can let it run out, whatever you want to do with it. But yeah, you're being distracting. So you need to go take a nap for about an hour. No. Yeah. Sweet dreams.
Later, testify to it.
That is wild. Yeah, I heard all kinds of stories. Did you hear the story that allegedly Dawn and Candace had signs down at the bottom of the hill, down at the bottom of Ben Hill with different prices for different sex
They did
acts?
not. That was Fred that put that crap out and said they're running prostitution. And that was when him and Pam, his original wife, were staying there with the other kids that were taken. But they didn't stay long in the community. They lived there for a while. And then they were gone. The same pattern, I guess, played out. They weren't good to the kids. Other neighbors had to take care of all the things, right? And then they jetted when DCS got too close. Then inevitably you see how that ended. And but the same pattern played out. But you also have Fred in there when he said that. He was also saying that Rose was down.
Yes, he did. That was, and Marlena saying that at some time, I think it was Marlena saying at some time Candace tried to say that she was her sister Rose. It was really fucking weird.
No, honestly, you never know with Candace. Candace didn't, Candace says a lot of shit through years. Doesn't make it true. And then when they're all in that dope together, who knows what fell out of Candace's mouth to Marlene?
That's true. That is
what
very
true.
true.
They see shadow people. Who knows what Marlena actually heard that are being made in?
That's
right?
yeah. Well,
What
that's the
happens
bad
when
thing
you're
about it. I mean, that's with a lot of them. You know, you just can't get a grip on what at that time maybe their fucking reality. So,
right?
you know, you're grasping on to this could be true. Well, wait a minute, they were doing this substance, so you got to take that into account. So that fucks the whole story up.
Right. Well, then also what you have is, you know, there's a long line of genetic predisposition to mental issues and stuff, and that doesn't mean just because somebody has issues that means they're not telling the truth or not this right now. And so I don't mean it in that way. But when you have that combined throughout that, you know, and then you have, well, even if you don't, so you take that all away, but you have a bunch of people like the Marlene and the Freds who spent most of their life, you know, on there doing something, you know, and it has an effect on your brain and how you think and function and your reality. Some things can have a permanent thing even after you're sober. You misremember, you don't know. I mean, that's what happens when you use things.
Well, and that's the thing, you know, most of them were like, well, we don't keep track of time. And it's like, well, even if you may not keep track of time, if it's what you did that day and it was the truth, you're not going to forget about it.
Well, I mean, with their brains, though, they may have shit. And that's the thing. I mean, I try to give leeway for that for some of them, especially. I mean, but it's like, you know, and there are people, it's like, man, you could go whole days without looking at a phone or do whatever, having a time or keeping track of something, you know, and you live the country life, you may not pay it, you know what I mean? And if you're not communicating, you know, a signal down there, I mean, you're mostly just hanging out in the hills. So, yeah, there ain't, you know, I mean, you could be present wherever, but have no receipts or ways to tell you time or anything. You know, I'm like, I don't know.
What did you think about the phone call lasting all the way home from Don and Candace?
It's a lie, and I know it's a lie.
Yeah, I didn't believe that.
But you don't have to. From the beginning. Me, Don says in some of his stuff, he goes, well, the way I knew that Summer hadn't been found is because nobody called me back.
Exactly. That's where I got it. Yeah.
And then another one is that, well, I knew when I pulled up and I could see my neighbor or neighbors, depending on which version it's on.
Yes.
Searching for Summer, my heart's sinking, I knew.
Yep.
And then it changes, right? And then it's, oh no, they're on the phone the whole time. And oh, it's this, and oh, it's Facebook. But no, it's a cell phone this, and it's bullshit.
Well, and I couldn't understand either, and this was kind of jumped out at me. If the boys were some of the last ones to see Summer, Don just drove right by the boys and didn't stop and talk to them, and he went to the shed. That didn't make any sense to me. I would think that he would have stopped.
But he didn't. In order to get to the boys, he had to drive by the shed.
Oh, okay. Okay.
He had to.
All right.
So now he could have maybe seen him down from road, but I don't know, I doubt it. But maybe once they'd stood up. But either way, yeah, I mean, he always says he went looking for way, he drove straight down, right? And that means that turn right there into the field beside of that shed, the big one on the main road. And the boys were basically straight ahead and out in that way. And so he drove straight to them, and according to him, and I mean, other witnesses will know, whatever, but at the time I was on, like more towards the main road, and that shed was in my line, you know, whatever. But
yeah.
I was at that point near there, and I was coming through the last bit of the creek, and then I obviously come into contact with the boys, I think, after Dawn had. Hold on just a minute, I'll be right back.
Okay. Hey, I'm going to go to the bathroom real quick while I'm waiting on Jody. So let's give her a minute. Let's take a woosah moment. I'm at 6 hours. I'm going to stay on just a little bit longer, and then I'm going to probably get off and eat my dinner and stuff. And so give me just a minute. If Jody comes back, let her know. I'll be right back. Okay. So I'm going to end that there today. I've already been on here almost 2.5 hours. AK-47. You had to go bye-bye today. You were very distracting. And I'm a nice person, and I like to, you know, at least know what's going on in my chat. And you were just spewing a bunch of nonsense. I understand it wasn't nonsense to you, but it was nonsense to me. And who goes to a chat and tells people that you lied on somebody else. And I mean, what did you want me to do with that? But then you already apologized, and I don't know what to say. Matthew, AK-47 needs to speak with you. Because I don't know what's going on. I don't know what's going on. But I am sorry, you guys. We are going to have to do a part 5. Please do not come for me. And I know that I run my mouth too much. I know I do. I know what y'all say. It's like, shut the fuck up, remain calm. But I do have a lot to say. A lot I want to, and look, Jody's conversation may not click anywhere with you guys at all on certain things, but just from things that I've known of for a long time, it was kind of verified for me, in a way, I'll say. So, but this all has to do with Summer. It doesn't have to do with whether you like Jody or not like Jody. It doesn't have anything to do with that. It has to do with Summer. Whether you think so or not, there's been some really good information given out. There really has. And I'm not going to sit here and call anybody a liar. I'm not going to do that. Everybody has their own truths, for sure. And like I said, it ain't on me if y'all want to run around and show contradictions. I know I don't want to do it. I don't have time for that. But y'all do you, for real. Because I don't know. I don't know. For real. But thank you guys for hanging out with me so long. When I have to finish this tomorrow, I can't keep on with this. So I have to finish it tomorrow. But I'm thinking of releasing the whole interview to my members without any commentary. So I thought about doing that for my members. Oh, hey, Jackie. What's up, Jackie? You got to say Jackie with a little bit of attitude. Jackie. Good to see you. But no, I am not going to sit here and say anybody is innocent or anybody is guilty. I do not wield that power at all. That is not one of my superpowers. But it's interesting. But I have to. Now I have to go back and find where there was a conversation on a phone. And I'm wanting to say, in my mind, I'm thinking, yeah, I think I might be able to find it. Where they talked about the woman running down the road. The dang naked woman running down the road. I mean, for real. And so, anything else? Anything else? And my subs and everybody, you're good with this conversation. You're good with me finishing it out. Right? Right. But yes, tomorrow's it. Tomorrow is going to be the last part. We'll get it finished up. But I mean, you guys, I'm telling you, the different cast of characters in Summer's case is a lot. A lot. The different things that different individuals have done, it is a lot. It's a lot. It's a whole lot. And it's just sad that 4 years is coming up and there's nothing. There's nothing. At all. All right, my ass is getting off here. You guys have a good night. Go hang out. Do you, be you. I'm not even going to tell you to behave. You do whatever you want. You're grown. You are grown. Thank you, Super Sensible. All right, you guys. I hope we had some good combo here today. And thank you, newer people who's been coming into chat. And AK-47, I hope you take a good nap. Okay? And feel free to come back next time. For real. But anyhow, thank you guys. I appreciate you. Yes, Diamonds gifted a membership. And then AK-47 gifted 5 memberships. So I do appreciate you doing that, AK-47, but you needed a nap, okay? You needed a nap. So get mad about it or don't get mad about it, but you needed a nap. For real. Okay, so my ass is getting off here. Thank you guys. I appreciate you. You know I do. Thank you for coming and hanging out. And yeah, newer people that popped in. Always good to see newer people. I am interested on one name that popped in, and I couldn't pull my chat up, so I couldn't see couldn't see who maybe it was, but welcome. All right, thank you guys. Later.